It goes without saying that Leroy's Hermit stance is pretty solid overall, boasting some really strong lows, and just his overall mix-up potential from this stance is pretty scary. However, there's always been something off about Leroy's Hermit stance, and I feel as though I finally pinpointed the main issues that plague Leroy in this stance. So let's break those issues down and just talk about how this stance can also be improved. Okay, so issue number 1 is movement. Leroy does not have any sort of movement or maneuvering whilst he is in Hermit stance except his sidestep. The sidestep is very niche. You won't really find like insane plays or find ways to make the most out of it. It's basically just a budget version of like a regular sidestep. It could have been better if you could just regularly sidestep. Honestly, that would have been way better than his Hermit sidestep. They did try to implement something with his Hermit 1+2, giving him a new move, but maybe if he had more moves out of his Hermit sidestep, then just maybe it would have been better. Leroy has a back 3 cancel, and you do back 3 into 1+2, so into 3+4, you will cancel his back 3 and go into Hermit instead. So I wish this was something you could do in Hermit stance as well. So like Hermit, then back 3 again and cancel it, just to give him that sort of movement or maneuvering, so to speak. Just to use as a reference, let's talk about Alisa or Zafina, right? Alisa's chainsaw stance is one of the strongest stances in the game, way better than Leroy's Hermit stance. It's way stronger, does massive amounts of chip damage, has strong unreactable mix-ups, but the most important thing is Alisa has very good movement in this stance. Now I do know Alisa is a movement character, that's kind of like her archetype, but another example is Zafina. Zafina's Tarantula stance has some pretty good movement. It feels very seamless. You don't feel handicapped when you are in Tarantula stance with Zafina, but that does not feel the same with Leroy's stance. Like you just stuck there with your leg up like a fucking idiot, bro. Like it just doesn't feel right. It feels very off. Like even Steve has a movement out of Peekaboo. He can go into Dark Cancels, he can go into Albatross. Even his new Lionheart stance, he does have some movement options, but Leroy does not have this option. He also can't block in the stance, mind you, so not having movement in the stance and not being able to block is like a double negative. So if they gave Leroy some sort of movement from the stance, just a way to like move forward or move back, it would be way better, more seamless, right? So yeah, hopefully Namco do come through and give our boy some sort of movement, or at least some improved movement from this stance. So the next one is a pretty obvious one. Give us the option to not go into Hermit stance off of certain moves. I don't understand why some characters are locked or forced to go into stance and others are not. So can someone make it make sense to me in the comment section? Like, why is a design choice like that for certain characters? You're forced to go into Hermit stance. Or in 1-4, you're forced to go into Hermit stance, down forward 4, right? Like, let you be able to do down forward 4 without going into Hermit stance. Let me use back 3 without being forced to go into Hermit stance. I don't think this would be an overpowered change. With the right balance, with the right fixes, it would be a very cool change. Actually, one of the characters that was plagued by this issue was Steve. When Steve was forced to go into Lionheart, it was a huge problem, right? Lionheart was so hard to use because the frames weren't that good, and it's kind of the same with Leroy. We don't talk about it, but it's kind of the same with Leroy, and I'll get into that later when I talk about like his frame data off of certain moves that take him into Hermit. But like, why can we not just cancel and not go into Hermit? We take it back to Alisa and Zafina. Alisa has a choice to not go into her chainsaw stance. After her 1-1 punish, you hold forward after 1-1 to go into chainsaw stance, or just don't press anything after 1-1 and you stay in neutral. Even Zafina is the same thing. Her 1-3 punish, you don't hold down back, you will go into a Tarantula stance. You hold down back, you won't go into the same stance. But like, why can we not do this with Leroy? Being forced to go into stance means your options are very limited. Your opponent is always ready for counterplay, right? Just being able to cancel, not going into stance, and having different options, it opens up so much. It opens up so many possibilities, right? It opens up more frame traps, more setups, the ability to sidestep, punish, create some with opportunities, with punishment, all that jazz. Just a simple change to Leroy not being forced to go into Hermit will make the stance feel a little bit better and just make the character flow seamlessly as well. Next is the lack of a quick check whilst in Hermit stance, and just the overall frame data of subsequent moves that force you into Hermit stance. Okay, Leroy's fastest move in Hermit stance is Hermit 4, which is 11 frames fast, but this move is technically unsafe. Just think of it as a -10 move. Now there are some ways around this. You can back to parry after pressing 4 to counter their punish, or you can do Hermit 1 as well to counter their punish. Now the problem with this, right, is you can't really use a quick check when you go into Hermit stance off of certain moves. Let's say like 1-2-4 punish. 1-2-4 into Hermit stance is +3. While standing 1-4 into Hermit stance is +3. And at +3, you don't really have good options after this. Hermit 1+2 comes out at 14 frames, so your opponent can jab check after your punish. You have Hermit forward 1 also comes out at 14 frames. You have Hermit 2, which is good. It is 12 frames, but it's -6 on block for a jab. Like, why, right? So your best option to use as a frame trap after 1-4 or standing 1-4 is Hermit 4. But Hermit 4 is technically unsafe. So like, why can't I go into Hermit stance after my punish? I'm forced to go into Hermit, by the way. I'm forced to go into Hermit at +3, but I don't have a very strong frame trap to keep my pressure going, right? I have to use a mix-up afterwards with Hermit 4. Like, why? Can someone explain this to me? Like, why am I forced to use a mix-up as a frame trap in Hermit when I'm in the stance at plus? I should be able to have a very strong check, even just a jab check, guys. Give Leroy some good jab check whilst in Hermit stance. It just feels as though I have to throw something out to get out of Hermit stance really quick, which sucks. For reference again, Alisa, bro. Alisa, after her 10 frame punish 1-1 is +5. If she goes into chainsaw stance, she is still +5, right? And she has forward 1, which is an 11 frame check, a chainsaw check. Think of it like a fast jab check. Like, why don't we have this? Why can't we check the opponent with a quick jab and just back away? Zafina has a jab. After Tarantula 1-3, right? Forward 4-3, she can check the opponent with a jab because the frame data is very good. Like, why can't we do this with Leroy? That's the issue, and it's so annoying, bro. If they made 1-2-4 +5 or +4, but +5 would be good because I can use my Hermit 1+2 as a frame trap. So I can do like a punish into Hermit 1+2, they press buttons, they get hit by my rapid strikes, and I go into hit. Like, as simple as that. So improve his frame data off of his punishment into Hermit stance, make it at least +5 tops. It can't be +3, bro. And the fact that I'm forced into Hermit is what sucks the most. Like, why? Why? Let me use my 1-4 and just stay in neutral, bro. Like, come get this neutral. I don't want to go into stance and make you guess or make you start dealing with mind games off of a Hermit 4. It sucks so bad. So give my boy some quick jab check, or just improve his frame data off of his moves or off of his punishment tools that take him into Hermit stance. Like, goddamn, Namco, come on, man. Okay, now for this last one, it's kind of a want and a need, and it's a combination of everything put together. So because we can't move in Hermit stance and we don't have fast tools to deal with, then why not give Leroy another parry? Maybe like when he is in hit or something like that. So whilst Leroy is in Hermit stance, he does have an auto low parry. This is decent, but you won't really find many people using this or like creating like crazy stuff, some setups for this. It's not easy to implement. It's very niche, very, very niche. So I was thinking, when Leroy is in Hermit stance, why not give him a high parry? Just for reference, let's talk about Reina's Heaven's Wrath. So when Reina is in Heaven's Wrath, whilst in hit, she can parry highs and mids. That is insanely strong. And unlike Leroy's Hermit stance, Reina can move from her Heaven's Wrath. She can cancel into a wave dash, so she can implement wave pressure afterwards, go for a hell sweep or like a mid mix up, and she has an unbreakable throw from her Heaven's Wrath stance as well. So her mix up game is strong from the stance, and she has movement as well. Then on top of that, she has a parry whilst in hit in the stance. So why not give Leroy something similar, but instead let him parry highs and low? So you have to check him with mids, check him with down forward ones. That will actually make sense because Leroy does not have a fast move out of Hermit stance outside of Hermit 4, which is like very niche, like I said, and Hermit 2, which outright no one uses outside of combos. So this would be a good change in my opinion. But what do you guys think about this one? I want to hear you guys' opinion on this. Would it be OP, but it will only be exclusive to hit? Like, just make Leroy more scary whilst he is in Hermit stance. But overall, guys, how do you feel about these changes? If you ever wondered why Leroy's Hermit stance feels weird to use or is a bit just feels weird overall, like, this is why, right? He does have very few issues that need fixing, and honestly it's taken me this long to realize that. I've always thought Hermit was the kind of that stance just want to go in real quick, boom, check the opponent and back away, get the mix up real quick then back away, right? He got his new Hermit hit confirmable 1+2, which was pretty good. but like it just feels off. It does not feel seamless. You don't just flow with the stance. You feel very vulnerable, and I mean very, very vulnerable. I want to be able to go into hermit stance and hold my stance. I want to hold my stance, move around, get closer to the opponent, right? Maybe even sidestep a bit, maybe back 3 cancel. Let me be able to do my back 3 cancel whilst in hermit. Like, let me move around. Give me better frame data. Give me the choice to not go into hermit stance. God damn it, Harada. Like, we need these buffs. But what do you guys think? Leroy mains, I know I have a bunch of y'all. Talk to me. What do you guys think about these changes? Would they be too OP, or would they make Leroy's hermit stance a better stance overall? So thank you for watching. Check out my other Leroy content as well, like this one, 15 essential tips that will help you improve your Leroy gameplay. GG, my boys.